What's going on, everybody? I'm back on air. This is the Little D Big Opinions podcast. I'm your host, Daniel, nickname Lil D. That's my new rap name. If I was a rapper, that'd be the best rap name ever, and I think I've even talked about that in my first episode. But this is the second episode. New day, new things to talk about. So, just a quick rundown on what this is going to be about. We have recent information that I've looked into on NBA betting schemes and scandals and fraudulent, fishy things going on in the league. Now, am I a huge NBA guy? Not completely. I've never been a huge basketball guy. The most I'll do is play, some pickup games in the neighborhood or at Mulberry, and that's usually a rare occasion. I do like basketball, though. It's a fast-paced sport. It's very fun to watch. In college ball, March Madness, that's always great stuff. It really is. And especially when you see those smaller schools. You'd never heard of small schools or smaller schools until you see them in March Madness. Those guys are dogs. They're real. They're the real deal. But let's get into this second episode. So the information that I've kind of bullet pointed or set out in a bullet point list is really interesting to me for any of you NBA fans who have looked into this recent scandal involving a few former coaches and players. And it's also actually tied to a Mafia family. It's tied to a Mafia family. The name is, I believe it's La Cosa Nostra. That family has been tied to poker games, fraudulent poker games, and cheated poker games that these former and current coaches and players have been linked to. So here's the first one. Just for the record, these sources that I've gotten this from will be added to the description of the video. If you listen to this on YouTube, if you listen to my podcast, you'll find all the sources added at the bottom, simply because it's quite a list of sources, and I don't want to take time to read each and every one of them out, because I'm already going to have to read these bullet points, and I don't like scripting things. But if I jotted these down, like in my own head, or not in my own head, if I kind of just wrote these out and typed these out on the computer in my own voice, then reading them would kind of just be just like a monologue. It wouldn't be like an audiobook or anything like that. It's not going to be anything like that. It's not completely scripted. I'm simply just reading to you what I've jotted down from sources. So, to start off with, over 30 people, including Rozier, Billups, and Jones, were arrested on October 23rd, 2025. And that's really recent. They've been arrested in a federal probe linking illegal gambling and poker operations to New York crime families. Rozier and Jones allegedly shared confidential player availability information with bettors for gambling advantages. Billups and Jones are then accused of helping run or appear in rigged high-stakes poker games tied to organized crime. Prosecutors then claimed the betting ring used insider intel to profit from unders on player props before injury news became public to the media. A one-sided example would be Rozier allegedly disclosed he'd exit a March 2023 game early, prompting a $200,000 bet on his unders before he left after just roughly 9 minutes of playing in this game that he had already foretold somebody that he was going to leave. Then Jones allegedly sold injury information involving Lakers stars to gamblers. The Mafia family linked to these poker networks, La Cosa Nostra family, used marked cards, camera setups, and x-ray tables to cheat players out of $7 million. Both Rozier and Billups have been placed on leave while investigators proceed. At least seven NBA games from the 2023-2024 season are being reviewed for possible manipulation. The scandal sparked major concerns over gambling and deep interrogation into NBA media, which it's led to some outlets scaling back betting-related content. So, if you use Prize Picks, if you use DraftKings, whatever betting apps you use or whatever you use to bet money on, they're probably going to scale back a bit because half of those things are definitely fraudulent. I've already heard about people getting money taken away from them from Prize Picks, either because they win too much or just fraudulent things going on. So in a more detailed kind of, that was pretty broad. It wasn't super detailed, but I'll get into it right now. So here are the three main figures charged. Terry Rozier, he allegedly told an associate he'd leave a 2023 game early, triggering big bets on his unders. He checked out after 9 minutes. Then Chauncey Billups, accused of involvement with Mafia-linked poker games, sharing private MBA information. Then Damon Jones ran rigged poker games. So some would argue the NBA should pause all games to protect integrity. I agree. Here's why. If we were to pause all NBA games right now, no pay, no sort of pension, I understand, and I completely get it. I understand you have guys in the NBA with families, they have children, they have homes they got to pay for, they have 30 cars on their insurance they got to pay for. I understand, but I mean, these guys they're wealthy, they can do it. They can. It's if they just use their money wisely, then them, if the NBA were to stop paying them to undergo this investigation, I would most certainly do that. Why? Because it's an integrity issue. Integrity doesn't mean a lot to people nowadays because it's so easy to get your way just by cheating and just by taking the shortcut. And within the sports world, you can see this with NIL deals all the time. And I think that's one thing that I really picks my brain. NIL deals are one of the most single-handedly stupid things to come to college football. I understand young college guys, they're coming out, fresh out of the gates, They want to make big bucks. And their names are being put on the back of jerseys. Companies are using their name, image, and likeness. I understand that, but there has to be a cap put on these NIL deals because that's only going to lead to more fraudulent and money laundering issues within NCAA. And I don't doubt that it's happening now. I just don't think people are ballsy enough to speak out about it. And I also really don't think people are willing to investigate it because it's such a it's a money-making industry now. All sorts of sports networks, they're no longer necessarily labeled as sports. They're now sports and entertainment, or even just entertainment. So when you label sports networks as such now, entertainment, it really just leads me to believe that everything's rigged now. It is. There's no doubt about it. They're not hiding it anymore. They're not. But now that this has come out, it's obvious to the public eye that now people have sources to go to for this. This isn't just something you would say and then someone looks at you and says, "Oh, you're crazy, dude. That wouldn't ever happen." You have any proven facts? You have any facts? Can I fact check you? Shut up, you buffoon. Don't fact check me. I'm Lil D. I don't need to be fact checked. I am the fact. But anyways, it's sad to see that you have, media that has been able to investigate this and go into this. It's so public now, they can't hide it. You have Tony Soprano betting on games, winning them. The NBA should honestly be changed to the MBA, Mafia Basketball Association. Now, WNBA, you guys are safe. No one's betting on your games. You guys suck. Angel Reese, you're terrible. I'd dunk in... Oh my gosh. I could definitely dunk over Angel Reese. Give me a trampoline or a bouncy house, and it's game over, dude. Caitlin Clark, you're kind of on the good side. I mean, I honestly don't have much respect for WNBA players. They chose to be a women's basketball player. Now, hence the word women's. This excludes... This excludes... What's her name? Gosh, it was just on the tip of my tongue. It was that girl that was arrested in Russia, or possibly man, that was arrested in Russia. Brittany Griner. That's who it is, Brittany Griner. This excludes Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner, I'm sorry, you're cut out from this. WNBA does not condone you. And Yeah, this is going to tank the viewership for the NBA, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA viewership numbers become like the WNBA ones when fans realize, how rigged these things are. You've kind of destroyed a little child's dream of being a professional basketball athlete with this coming out, because no matter what you do, no matter which team you root for, there's always going to be some fishy stuff going on. So this is just sad. It is. It's sad. I really have no other words to describe it but sad. Reason being, the integrity issue. I've already mentioned this. The integrity issue is the most important problem. Then, if you continue the league, you don't pause it at all, then that just leads me to believe that you really don't care. You really don't care about hiding it. It's out for the public eye. You know, this is bad, man. It's public indecency. So NBA, stop showing your twig and berries, and please cover up better. Because if you're gonna cheat and if you're gonna make money, at least don't get caught, guys. That's the biggest issue. And then you would also, if you went to stop the NBA completely, but for a period of time, not permanently, you could prevent like further compromises, and you could really take this issue serious and stop any further compromise. And then restoring fan trust is also a big issue with me. You saw this with, back in the 90s, late 90s, when the Baltimore Browns moved overnight to Cleveland. They just fled Baltimore. People were upset. Your fans just completely crapped all over your name now. They burned jerseys. They wore paper bags over their head. So stuff like that is going to go on in the NBA. You already have WNBA players getting shaboing boings thrown at them like it's an episode out of Legends of Chamberlain Heights. It's awful. It's awful, but it's funny. I'd love to go to a WNBA game and just see what happens, because one, it's interesting stuff seeing shaboing boings thrown onto the court. I've always wondered what sound it'd make. I wonder if it just like tap the court, or would it sound like a sneaker hitting the court? You know what I mean? Like when you're on a court running, you hear the squeaks of the sneaker shoes and the basketball shoes, rubbing against the floor court. I wonder if that's what a shaboing boing would sound like hitting the courts, hitting the wood, no pun intended. So that's always been an interesting topic of mine. And I think they even had to put up nets at some WNBA games, and it still happens. So props to you, whoever is able to throw shaboing boings out onto the courts. And it's only a matter of times before people start throwing Franks full of ketchup and mustard. Ketchup and mustard Franks. No bun, just straight up Frank. Covered, just doused in that sweet red ketchup and that tart mustard all over the court. Be a fun but sad day for the WNBA players. Fun for me to watch. Sad for the WNBA players. No one gives a crap about WNBA. I think I recently searched up a little statistic of my own. I found out that there's more viewers on a Friday night high school football game in Texas than I think there are in WNBA games. And let's give this a look. Let me see if I can get this screen to my other monitor. So, gosh darn it. Hold on. Bear with me, peeps. This is going to be really interesting stuff. If I can even get this darn thing to work. Hold on. Let me exit out of my notes. Boom. There you go. Bear with me, peeps. Sorry if you can hear me typing. I'm going to try to be a quick typer as fast as possible. Don't save. There you go. Alright. Gosh darn it, come on. MacBooks, really, I hate Apple products. I have an iPhone, but MacBooks, you guys, whoever is in charge of creating MacBooks, you guys suck. You guys suck balls at your job. This is some of the worst and hardest technology to use. School, it's awful. I can't get anything onto another monitor without your stuff bugging out. Anyways, so let's search this up real quick. What is the average number of views for a high school Texas football game compared to a WNBA game? Right. Come on, let's load. All right. Let's see. Dang it. All right, hold on. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let's get more specific. Do more people watch high school football than WNBA? Can't type for crap. There you go. Do more people watch high school football than WNBA? Alright, so although WNBA does have a much larger national television following, Texas high school football definitely surpasses. It's not giving me anything specific, so I would have to say Texas football definitely surpasses, or really any high school football surpasses viewership than WNBA. And this is just my personal opinion. I could definitely take a nap at a WNBA game. I think people have done that before. They just bring a blanket and pillows to WNBA games. And that's honestly the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. Look, no disrespect to a WNBA player. I know you guys don't get paid much for good reason. But I understand being a professional athlete's hard. No pun intended. Shaboing boing. But, do I think a high school team could beat a WNBA team? Most certainly. Most definitely. I think it probably has happened before. I think you've seen this with the women's, I think, some national women's soccer team, some Olympic soccer team for women. They got beat by a group of 14-year-old boys. Excuse me while I take a sip of my water. I think that's impressive. Group of high school boys beating professional women's soccer team. That just goes to show how proverbially crappy women's sports are. And then women have the audacity to say, oh, they wear shirts that'll say, pay us what you owe us. Why? Why? Just sell a shaboing boing that gets thrown onto the court for $1 million. People will pay for it. People definitely would. That's how you can make more money. How about that, Angel Reese? How about that, Caitlin Clark? You guys start selling those shaboing boings getting thrown onto the court, and you'll make your money. We don't gotta pay you jack. You guys don't get views. Some of you are worse than Shaq at free throws. Then some of you can't even perform a simple layup. I mean, I'm no Allen Iverson, but if you see me playing at the Mulberry Courts, if I ever do, rare occasion, or playing some street ball with my friends, if I had a camera on me for that, I would be in the league. Maybe not NBA, but maybe some like Euro League, maybe, I don't know, some G League. I think I'd definitely be pretty good there. I'd probably be better at defense though. That's something I've always noticed. Lacrosse defense and basketball defense do have certain things in common. I will say that. As a huge lacrosse guy, I do see a lot of similarities in lacrosse and basketball. Even with like set plays we run in lacrosse, they have a lot of similarities to basketball. Although in lacrosse, in lacrosse you can run behind the goal. You can go behind the net. And NBA, or in basketball in general, can't. It's the only sucky part. Imagine, you know what, that'd actually be really cool. I think that one thing that they should consider doing, they should have a league where you can run behind, and I know they have like WrestleMania basketball leagues, you know, where guys are throwing haymakers before they dunk. I think you should be allowed to have a league where you set up like an open space behind the net so people can run plays behind it. I think that'd be dope. I think it really would. Or you can maybe like shoot a 3-pointer from behind and have it swoosh in. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see something like that. That's true athleticism right there, folks. But hopefully this, as I, wrap up this episode, I don't think I think this was much better, had a much better outcome than the last one. The first one's always rough, but they're going to get a lot better as they go on. And for those of you who watch this, I really hope you enjoy this. It's really going to get a lot funnier from here. I'm going to have guests soon. Hopefully, my brother already asked me if I could feature him on this podcast. But hence, it's my podcast. I'm Little D, and I got big opinions. And one of my big opinions is, if people want to come on my podcast, not that I'm there yet, but if people do, you got to pay up. I'm sorry, but airtime's not free. It's not. At least not for me. You want to be on my show, your airtime's going to be paid. You got to pay me, sucker. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Definitely a little funnier. Actually, a lot funnier than the last one. But for those of you who enjoyed listening to this, please like, subscribe, and share. Like I said, my sources will be posted in the description. Like, subscribe, share. If you don't, Tony Soprano's coming after you. I'm going to get the Mafia on you. I promise. I'm not playing games. I got Mafia ties, people. And they're in the NBA. So to wrap this episode up, I hope you ladies and gentlemen enjoyed this. I will be seeing y'all in the next episode. This is Little D, Big Opinions. I'm your host, Daniel, nicknamed Lil D. And I'm going to see if I can get my brother to be on my next episode, because that'd be absolutely dope. And you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving. Eat a lot of turkey. Eat a lot of ham. Be the first. Be the best. That's what I say. If you're not first, you're last. So stack up them plates. Eat your desserts. And whatever you do, make sure you have a toilet on standby Thanksgiving night. This is Lil D, out.